good. What's on the menu?
We've got it. I'm running the sleepy time at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of nice in the day. A bit of chamomile, a bit of peppermint.
Bit of Arvo Max Lax.
Yeah, that's it. He knows. Today we have Jordy on the potty. I'd call you a breathwork and functional movement master.
Yeah, don't know about master just yet, but yeah, more of a coach.
Yes.
In the breath and holistic health space. So,
Mad dogging.
yeah.
How good. So, in your opinion, why is breath so important? It's a pretty wide question, but
Yeah, that's a good question to start off. I feel there's a lot of reasons for that, but probably the biggest reason is it's the thing that we do the most.
Big time.
And the thing that helps everything else function and flow. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is through the breath, all of our organs, our heart rate, our hydration, our thoughts, our sleep, our energy, our mood, everything kind of ripples out from that.
Yeah.
And so for us to overlook it or for us to not see the importance in it, it's like we're missing this whole kind of foundation of health or understanding our own bodies and how that actually can influence our life or our reality. And it's also directly linked to our solar plexus, or we breathe into our diaphragm, which is our personal power. And so it's like without the breath or without a deeper connection to the breath, what is our personal power like? And I feel like that's my journey, has been like the breath has just unlocked my own personal power. And it's like given me a sense of, fuck, this is who I am. Not this shallow person, but rather this like deep, just a whole new layer of person. It's kind of hard to describe in words, but
I love that response. That's sick. Like I didn't realize that makes sense though, the solar plexus thing. Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to focus on that a little bit more when I do more breathing. Yeah,
and it's like, what can you unlock through the breath in your personal power?
How cool.
It's like, one example is, can you say like bring your focus back into yourself when shit hits the fan outside of you? Like when this is all chaotic, what's in here doing that can help to, it's okay, I can center myself. That's a powerful place to be, right? 100%. If I can see clearer or be in my center, then it's like I don't react as much. I'm like responsive. I can, what do I want to do? What's the conscious choice I want to make before like, oh, fuck, I'll just do this or I'll crumble or let's go hide under my sheets.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I found that to be so... That was my one intention coming into this year, breath. Like each year, it's just one word.
Cool.
And this year, it's just... I've noticed it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just practicing it every damn day. Those moments of just like overwhelm and you're just like, oh wait, I have this cheeky tool that I can use that always has my back.
So good. How has that helped your personal power?
It's just like, it just means that I have kind of full control over, I mean, in a way, how's this music?
So good.
It's mad. I guess it means that I've got a technique to just ground myself and to come back to equilibrium when the mind goes out of control or there's excess energy like fluttering around the body. Completely forgot what the question was, but
how it's affected your personal power.
Well, I mean, good question. I like it. It's just made me feel grounded. It's got me out of a lot of just like just moments where it felt like the emotions were just too much to handle. I feel like it just gets you out of everything, really. Which is cool.
Yeah, cool.
I was at like this retreat over the weekend and they did like a big breathwork session and I'd never like seen like a product like that. Like you had people just like losing it, like full convulsion, convulsing and like sitting up and just like arms were up, like exorcism vibes. And I'd never like I feel like I've only dipped my toes into like the breath work stuff. Could you describe like what's actually going down? Like
Yeah, it's kind of like an emotional or release that's coming from deep within, whether it might be muscle or fascia or different parts of the body, because the body keeps score. So experiences will be stored in the muscles, or let's just say it's like deep in the pelvis where you might have childhood trauma or trauma from your family or you're growing up. And it's like for people to first of all access that, but maybe it's the first time they've done it, or they've done it in a way that's like quite it's quite pointy or aggressive. It's like that's where I'm getting to, and it's like putting a lot of energy into finding that, and it's like the body just letting go however it can. It's almost like, as you were kind of saying, taking the lid off and just letting the excess energy go where it needs to go. And it's like people get like claws, or I've had my arms just like kind of go like stiff
and screaming.
Screaming.
Really cool.
It's amazing what can come out of it, right?
I couldn't believe my fucking eyes. And I was just filming this thing, and just like 27 women, just like all basically women that have just gone through like the most hectic shit, full traumatized, like, and all of them just being like, all right, I'm not going to cling to this story anymore. And it was
amazing.
The facilitators, like, I feel like a lot of facilitators sometimes they're like self-love and just like nurture yourself. She was just like that, but peppered with just like fucking take accountability. And so it was sick to just see it all going down, and the energy in the room was just like mental, and it got me so excited to dip more toes into like that realm.
Love that. That's so cool.
But how did you actually discover breath? Like what was the turning point?
A big part of it for me was I was like into running, and I come from more of the kind of functional breathing side of things. I think like you touched on more the emotional and the like traumatic release kind of work, style of breath work. I came at it from I was running up hills in Sydney, just kind of going about my thing, and I was with a group, and there was just a few of us like early morning, and as I was going up I was kind of struggling, and one guy was like, try breathing through your nose, and I was like, no one's ever told me to breathe through my nose. Like, why have I not learned this before?
It's important.
It's so important. And from then, and I was like, this was just my athletic ability at the time, and how I was performing in work, but I was not a great runner, and I was kind of like at the back of the pack. Over the next like 6 weeks, my whole like life transformed in a sense of like I was at the front of the pack now. I was at work, I felt like a lot more clear-headed and focused. I was like, wow, maybe this nose, like breathing through the nose, has something to do with all this. And it just fully like planted the seed of just exploring it, reading books, and then just like integrating into my life. And it was like just this constant reminder of like, where's your breath, where's it coming in, where's it going out, how deep is it, all these like little things. And that just, as I kind of like shared before, it transformed my personal power to like I'm maybe not as confident in myself, to like, I'm starting to like regain this understanding of like who I am and how I can be a part of what I'm doing. And that was just like, fuck,
that's huge.
So huge.
No, you go.
I was just like, I didn't even have an idea of coaching it. I was just like feeling it for the first time, and just I was gobsmacked that no one had ever taught me to try this. Right? It was just like, why? I was a bit curious, like why no one ever had told me that.
Well, I feel like it's coming up a little bit more now. People are tapping their mouths and stuff before sleep, and they say that snoring is basically choking, which is something that really surprised me. But
you're not breathing essentially.
It's mind blowing. It's cool how just like one guy just being like, have you tried this? And then you're just like, I'm just gonna make a career out of this. And just like also just transform my whole fucking life. Like, general well-being.
Totally. It's like it's taken me going through the process to fully be confident in myself to actually teach it too. Like that's that personal power piece. It's like I trust in what I've been through, that it's just a matter of resharing that to embody the personal power piece, which is kind of like, that's the transformation I feel that the breath has like, kind of planned or mapped out for me, which is cool.
It's nice to be like, just, I don't know what the sentence is, just like, you've been through it, you've seen how much it's helped you, and then you're just like, I want everyone to see how fucking epic this is and how much better it can make your quality of life.
Yeah, exactly.
I was blown away. I did a workshop, like a little breath workshop with Jordys once, and I was so shook by how long I could hold my breath for and how beaming I felt the whole day after the workshop. Like,
cool.
Yeah, it was so sick. Like, I'm so keen to do more breath stuff. But,
sick.
No, it's really cool. But I was going to say, you're like, I describe you as a bit of a powerhouse, someone pretty damn consistent. Do you think that's who you are? Do you think you've always been like that?
Yes and no. I think I've definitely learned over the years that consistency trumps intensity. And that's been a lesson that I've had to consistently come back to face. When I've like had an idea or a vision for myself or a goal and just gone so hard at it. And then I hit the goal or I do that and I'm like, and I just fall back into not maybe a slump, but just like, I had so much energy and now it feels a bit like confused and not knowing where to go. And so I feel like it's taken me like those moments over the years to come back into like, what does consistency actually mean, and how can I implement that more and more. And I think with that, it's like been open to changing what consistency is too. It's like flexible with my practices or flexible with my idea of what consistency means. Rather than it being a certain thing I do, it's being me every day.
Cool.
And it's showing up exactly, no matter what I do. And I feel like that's been more of a truer definition for consistency for me. So I feel like I'm consistent in that, like more and more every day, rather than like trying to be just super intense with things. It actually like relates back to the breath too. It's like beautiful that those women had that experience and had this like beautiful release. But now I would question, what do they do now every day, so you're not having to have these releases every couple of months or once a year, but rather when something arises, it's like a gentle release. It's like instead of the pressure cooker having to like build up and you're like, fuck, I need a retreat. It's just like, I'm living in a retreat every day because I can, work through that. Nothing wrong with that. No. But it's just how do you consistently like find that kind of outlet or release.
It's true. I think that was something that the facilitators were trying to sort of implement, just being like, guys, you got to do the hard shit. It's like, you would have felt that, I feel, in a way, when you start out with something, whether it be like yoga or meditation or whatever, at the start, I feel like I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not actually enjoying this. I'd rather be surfing. And then just like doing it. Now it's like you can't imagine not doing it. You're just like, fuck, this feels good. It is a part of me. And
100%.
It's like that. I think at this retreat it was cool. They were teaching people that you got to do the hard shit as well. We don't often go into an ice bath and go, I'm so keen for that ice bath. You go like, fuck, but that feeling after, and it was like teaching them that you got to do the hard shit to get to the good shit. And it was cool because like a lot of them had never like meditated or like they did a sweat lodge for like fucking hours where you're in this like sweaty dark like room and none of them it was really really cool. Like none of them had ever done anything like that where you get that reward after where you're like, I've sweated out some demons. Like, it's like, I think we're probably more the types of people who would check in on the daily and just be like, where am I at, where are my energy levels, what am I going to do today? They're more people that have been like stuck in a story for 40 years and they're just like, I am this, and they're just learning about the ego and like just learning about like self-limiting beliefs and stuff.
powerful.
mental.
Yeah. And I suppose it's our generation too who, you know, have come into this world with a bit more curiosity, or there's like this new level of access to information that we can connect, or we're more open to it, and maybe the older generations haven't had that, so that's, you know, that kind of like built up, pent up energy is just like generational too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that, and like the oldest woman there, she was just like screaming, and I was like, get her! Like, she'd just been in like, she'd been like, I'm like, I'm not sure what's confidential and what's not, but not like she'll watch this or listen. But it was just really cool to just, you can see the repression, like you can see in all of them how they've just been holding on to this thing for so fucking long, and then we give them, or I'm not going to say we, but like the facilitators give them a place to just like let it out, and then now their story's out in the ether, and they've got to stop fucking identifying with it and creating a new one. Yeah,
so cool.
But
powerful.
Yeah. Have you done like any sort of like, you know, the meditation techniques where you kind of like focus on like a vipassana, basically, like you focus on like a sensation in your body that's maybe painful, and then you try and release it out?
No, I haven't done that actually directly. It's probably more like going into the chakras or points in the body and just like relaxing and allowing that to maybe be a bit of my own kind of spin on that. But so it's a bit more the letting go piece and trying to bring the mind out of it, because the mind is like so powerful, but it's not as powerful as the heart. But we're just going to let that let that sink, that, or the control to be let go of from the mind to the heart. Paul Chek, one of my mentors, talks about the hardest journey in life is the 18 inches from going from your head to your heart. And it's like quality, and it's like the more I feel into that, I'm like, wow, that is such a journey. We can big, it's huge. Not easy either. We're conditioned to think how powerful our minds are versus how energetically powerful the heart is. I don't know.
That's a tricky one.
I don't know if you've felt like maybe when you're more in your heart, or you've come from a place that's like quite heart filled versus trying to do something out of the mind, and maybe what the result is, or what you've attracted in through that versus not.
The heart, I feel like from like leading with the heart, it's been like magic after recently anyway. It's like, I don't know, I feel like since like I've been on a bit of a weed hiatus, because I found that I was just like having head highs, and I just feel like since just like putting a pause on it, it's been like really like heart opening in a really cool way. It's been sick. Like actually just like feeling like there's so much love in my heart that it's gonna blow up, which is cool.
That's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Right, I like don't even, but I'm like, where do I put this? Like, how do I channel this?
Because it's strong.
It's really, really strong. At the moment, I'm like, I don't want to text him. No, I'm joking. I just have to channel it back into myself. People,
into like, it's like your expression in life too. I feel like when
creativity.
If you come from that place, that's like your most powerful place to create life. You know, if you're creating from the heart, it's like, who knows? Good. Who knows what you'll create.
That's what I needed to hear. I feel like I have so many bloody ideas at the moment, all coming from this high.
Cool.
I'm like, ooh.
It's like, how do you ground them? And that's where like the breath or moving, or just trying to even like journal or write things, like what's your method of grounding
big time
things?
Big time.
Versus like living in the clouds. Not to say that you are, but it's like, what is that, again, that process to ground it into
big time.
The matter. Just finding a way to do that feels good for you.
That was well said. That really helps.
Does something come to mind for you? There's like a way you...
Well, I write a lot.
Cool.
Like I'm constantly just in the journal, and I guess sharing on the blog and things like
Yeah.
that, and just writing for myself too. But I've just got a few million ideas. Kind of working on a book at the moment
Cool.
too. But it's just, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I just kind of want to go for a run. Yeah, it just feels like lots of energy, and
Yep.
I think in the end the weekend ended up being quite a big release for me too.
Yeah,
Just
cool.
to see all these people and
Yep.
doing this inner child work, and you're just like, oh shit, I went through that too.
Yeah.
Or, you know, noticing like little mini triggers and things like that, being like, oh fuck, that's like one of my unmet core needs and things
Yep.
like that, and then you know
Sick.
you let that go, and then you're just lighter on the other side.
Yeah.
Side note, I didn't brew this for long enough, so we're basically drinking hot water.
It kind of works.
The next round,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
spring water.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's
You know how
sweet.
it is.
We don't want to get too sleepy straight off the bat.
That's it. He knows. I was going to hit you with a few kind of relationshipy questions, because I feel
Yeah.
like you're a bit of a wizard in that realm. Are you pro, or would you prefer to not?
Yeah, I'm open for that. I'm
Cool.
open. Definitely not a pro, but I'm open. I'm open.
No, are you pro?
Pro, like, yeah, all for it.
Yeah, I was reading, like, doing a little bit of research on your gram, just sussing the waters, and you were writing a little bit about unconditional love, and I wanted to know what your journey was like, kind of arriving there. 'Cause I don't feel like you start loving and it's fully unconditional off the bat. Like, has it been a journey within yourself to
Yeah.
be able to share that? Or?
Yeah, definitely a journey in myself. I didn't really love who I was. I think going through high school, I didn't feel confident in who I was. I didn't want to be who I was.
Yeah.
Just in, maybe comparing myself to others, like even little things like hitting puberty late. And it's just like those things played such a role in like me not loving who I was or wanting to be someone else. And I think it probably wasn't till I got out of my first long-term relationship that I remember like we kind of had a rough ending to it, and I got all my belongings from the unit that she was living in. I wasn't necessarily living in one at the time, and I was like on a park bench with nowhere to live for like a good few hours until we got a hotel. And and I was just sitting there going like, fuck, what do I do with myself? I don't know what to do with myself. I was like, from then on, I just started to just create like this new identity of me, whether that was trying things, whether that was like giving myself permission to just like go and meet new people, or just I was couch surfing for a bit. And I feel like all those little experiences really like tested me and like how much I trusted myself. And I think it was the trust in myself to go, I actually can weather this storm, or I can go through this little hurdle and start to like learn about myself, started to like break through conditions of I don't need someone else, it's me that I can start to like work on. That probably took like 5 or 6 years from like being on that park bench to fully like backing myself. And I feel like backing or believing myself is like true unconditional love, because it's like no matter what happens and no matter what like unsteady surface I find myself on, I'm there for myself. I'm not holding conditions like I only love myself if I'm good at this, or if that person gives me acknowledgement. It's like it just felt like this kind of like clearing the path of I don't want this, I want this, and I know how that kind of creates like an unconditional love. It's because you're choosing exactly,
and getting rid of attachments and expectations and
just backing yourself to like this feels good, I'm gonna do this. I feel like running was a big thing for me, just to no one in my circle was necessarily doing it back here. When I was in Sydney, I kind of had this like free space to just create who I wanted to be. Like I didn't have the I guess the environment around me that would shape it. I was like trying to put myself in the environment to shape myself. And it was like no default environments, which I could feel myself getting stuck in when I was here. Not that it was bad,
100%.
but
it's the flu here when you're trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know what that expression means. But
Yeah.
it's just like, I felt the same when I was like 21. I was like, I want to create something new. I'm deeply sad. Like, I got to get out of here. I'm easily influenced. So I just boosted to Melbourne. And
Cool.
I know no one.
Yep.
And it's true. It's like the new environment is just like, sweet. So what am I? Who am I? What do I want to be?
Yeah. It's like a fresh canvas.
For sure.
Start to paint new colours and you're like, wow, this actually feels really good.
Yeah.
Versus like the old, what you've grown up with, or just what you've known. It's what you've known. It's like, that's what you've known, that's what you've known. It's not a bad thing. It's just breaking that can be hard when you're in it. It's like when you're in things, it's like
so big.
Yeah.
Would you say that being on the park bench that day was rock bottom?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely one of like my rock bottoms.
There's probably plenty more coming.
Yeah, but it probably was. Like I didn't have any money. Didn't know where to go, but I felt this like weird happiness in it. It was like
that's the only way up.
Yeah, it was like the only way is up, and I kind of just laughed at myself for getting myself into that. And it was all my choices that led me there. So it wasn't, I didn't feel like super victimized by it, which was like a funny thing to feel. But it's like, oh wow, I've really done this to myself.
It's true that. That's fucking power to feel that.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, I noticed like a link. I don't know if you noticed this too, but when you're like ending a relationship that's not really serving, it's like money and love, they're like both security. It's like they go hand in hand. I feel like if you're not in something that's suited to you, I feel like the universe has a way of just going, your funds are not going to flow. Like this isn't, it's like the trippiest fucking thing, the correlation between the two.
It is.
It's all energetic though, so it's like
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I feel like when you're at that low point in both of those or one or the other, remember how we're saying like the heart is just so powerful energetically. It's like if that feels like it's ready for a change or it's ready to break through something, it'll give all of the other centers of your energy like a bit of a kickstart, or like it'll take you to the bottom of your base so that you can like work your way back up, you know. It's like that's what creates the love. It's that kind of rebuilding of your psyche, I guess, or your idea of life.
That's it.
So
cool. Fuck, you've got a good grasp on it. I really like hearing what you have to say about it.
Oh, thank you. It's fun to reflect on it too, like sitting here and just I was only talking about it this morning, just like celebrating the little wins. And like that's always, you know, there's lots of little things in that, but just the more we can celebrate those little kind of like, oh, I was there, now I'm here, and that feels good. It feels good to like just reflect on that process. Gratitude
breeds gratitude.
That's it.
But what are do you have any key ingredients to a healthy relationship? I think you and Ree are phenomenal.
Thank you.
She's a queen on her own. You're a fucking king on your own, and then the two of them together. Shit. It's so beautiful to see and to feel as well.
Thank you. Yeah, key ingredients. I think like listening has been a big one for both of us. Listening to each other. Listening.
Sorry, I didn't mean that was funny. I just picked a card just before you arrived that said listen. So
I love that. So good.
Me interrupting. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Listening's been a big one for us, and trying to listen without a response has been like a big one for me, or trying to understand if when I'm listening she wants a solution or if she just wants to be heard. And for me, I'm a bit of I think it comes from coaching or just like my intellectual nature is like I look for solutions, or I'm like, what's okay, cool, you're feeling this, what can we do? And I feel like a big part of her expressing herself has just been to be heard. And so it's been such a journey to try and like continually remind myself of like, just listen. She just wants to be heard. Because if she feels heard or if I feel heard, then that's just like so much love in itself. Like you just feel this acknowledgement that is beyond, you know, trying to fix something or beyond trying to like work it out. It's just like hear it out and see where that takes you, and trying to feel into that, and the response can come from there, whether it's empathy or solution or or even just like sometimes trying to ask her like, hey, do you want me to listen or do you want a solution? Not to say I'm great at that, but that's been a big part of like us, I guess, feeling comfortable in each other's space and feeling comfortable to express. Like I've come from probably a place where I haven't felt like I've been able to express because I didn't know myself very well, and I could suppress a lot of that, and I was like, it felt wrong for me to express through my own internal dialogue. So just being able to like be comfortable to express what I want or my needs or what she wants and her needs creates such a safe space for us to maybe have different opinions and maybe get on each other's nerves, but if we listen and just hear, then we can like work on that. So I feel like that's been such a blessing out of like my first relationship to like come into this of just listen and and also I think the other one for me is like understand their strengths and like where you two come together and maybe where you'll clash or maybe where you'll just like have those like more tense spots. Like Ree's such a beautiful, fun, loving person, and her laugh, as you know, is infectious and it brings the joy out of any situation. And that for me has been such a lesson to like just fucking relax and have fun and just like laugh at life a bit more.
It's fucking hilarious.
And so she'll pull me out of like my seriousness and I can maybe pull her into her seriousness at times.
Nice.
And that's been fun to like work through that little dynamic. So I think it's just understanding understanding yourself first and foremost helps you then understand someone else,
big time,
because that's how can you understand someone else if it's not within you or you haven't experienced that or gone through that process. So and listening is obviously a key part of that.
Great. I love that. I love that you guys share that. I feel like that's a big one, actually. They're both big ones, but I feel like that's literally the key. Is exactly what you said to any thriving relationship, but people don't work it out. I mean, I've only just worked it out. Single as. But it's really cool to watch you playing with your strengths and strengths. And
thank you.
If you're in equilibrium, you guys can just fucking fly together and froth that.
Yeah, and even when we're not, it's like I think it was 2 weeks ago. We've been building up a bit of tension, and we're supposed to go to tango, and then we just both sat on the couch and just talked each other out and listened, and that just like relieved so much for us. And it was like there'd been a lot of built up, and like life just gets kind of busy, or things were just like moving at a pace that we hadn't like sat and just listened to each other, and that was creating the lack of equilibrium to feel that like a magic kind of sparring. But then after that I was like, cool, that's what it feels like.
So
it's
funny how that like you don't really feel like having the chat, or it's just like not really naturally happening, and then you have it, and then you're just so much more clicking and connected afterwards.
100%. It's the distractions or the like avoidance until you like face it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, that felt better.
Yeah. And you're surprised by the outcome every time.
Yeah, because it's like when you listen and when you talk, it's and you feel someone else's emotion, or you can hold compassion or empathy for them. That's triggers the heart to, you know, come online, unless you've got a pretty black heart. But you know, that can trigger that, versus everything before feels like it's you're trying to think your way through it, or you're trying to think, what would they say, or what do I say? It's like, instead of trying to know what the solution or what you're going to say is, it's like, just come to the table and talk and see what comes. It's like this. That's it's cool. Like, just see what comes. Versus like
that's brilliant.
Trying to plan, trying to like control. It's like control versus like letting go. And where does letting go lead you versus control?
It's been a big one. That was big in my last DMT trip, was control and perfectionism. But it was like I couldn't quite understand how to let go of control. Because I feel like in my childhood, this is not a psychology thing. In my childhood, it was just like I had no control of so many things. So then trying to control. And the if we've got the perfectionist on this side, like, often counterbalancing that with the experimentalist can be really helpful. Because the experimentalist just tries things and without an outcome. It's like, oh, what happens if I put an extra tea bag in that teapot? Might make it too strong. Or maybe versus the perfectionist is like, I like my tea 75 degrees, this depth, 1.5 sugars.
Exactly. I might have some more. Thank you.
Will actually be brewed. I froth that. That's cool. I think I've definitely got an element of just being like quite loosey-goosey and just being like, let's try. But I've been challenging it a lot.
Thank you.
I think that's okay. Like, my psychologist was like, all right, you need to colour outside the lines. And I was like, fucking, just started doing like the weirdest shit and just being like,
I've
got it.
See?
Anyway, which is cool. But I wanted to ask, like, when you guys have these conversations, is there a balance between who does the vulnerability thing first and says, all right, let's have a chat? Like, is there a balance between the two?
Yeah, definitely a balance. I feel like it'll take one of us to maybe call it out on the other person, or call out what we're feeling, or one of us to just share, like Ree shared the other night, and then that just like put me into tears, and then we both just were able to share. So it's definitely a balance. I feel like the balancing of our own masculine and feminine energies has caused us to that. So it's kind of just depends on the day and the week, and where we're both at too. Like, you know, where's she at in maybe the chaos of the order in her life, and then where am I at in the chaos and the order? And I feel like that's the beautiful part of a relationship, and having an open mind and heart is, if someone's deep in that, like offering them just a perspective outside of the chaos can be so powerful. And so even as say I'm going through the chaos, I need to listen to what she has to say, not judge that or go, no, you don't get it. It's like, what's the 1% or 10% truth that I can extract from that? Maybe it's not everything, but it's maybe her saying slow down, I see you moving so fast, and I'm just like, oh, slow down. That's what keeps kind of coming to me. So it's like, through that listening process, what's the truth that you can extract, and through your own kind of lens or filter.
It's true. And it's always well intentioned as well. It's like, she can see you from a different lens, and she can be like, bang.
Exactly.
There'll be things that you're already aware of as well, and you're like, oh, I needed to hear it from different person or whatever.
I would have needed the slap in the face. And just feel like, okay, cool.
That's it. That's cool. I like that. Do you find like describe you guys as pretty like independent humans from an outside perspective. Do you find that you have a good balance between time for yourself and time for the partnership?
Yeah, 100%.
Sick.
Yeah, I feel like at the start we kind of just got whisked away in the love of it all, and that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like it feels like where we are now is really trying to understand like what our non-negotiables are, whether that's yoga or meditation or just space for ourselves, or like having that time to just be with oneself. So I feel like that's really been a part of us. And then how do we also balance that with the partner time as what like life's gotten busier too. So it's, for us it's like being creative together, whether that's painting or pottery or just cooking. Cooking's a big one. So good.
So sick.
So good. That was probably one of our biggest like bonds to start with, just like cooking so much food and just it's like a love language. Yeah, exactly.
That's mad.
Together's fun, and it tests the like letting go and control so much.
You both have your own methods.
Yeah.
It's like when Jill and I cook together, it's just fucking He's like 3 kilos of olive oil, and I'm just like, fucking slow down. And he's just like, I'm just like a little bit of salt. He's just like, But no, it's funny. It's funny backseat cooking.
It is. And delegating or not. And trying to share your madness. Because I'm very like intuitive, and so is she. But obviously you can't read what someone else's intuition is telling them without communication.
It's true.
So it's like how do you communicate? Hey, can you help with this? Or versus leaving her fully out of it, or vice versa.
I can't imagine actually cooking with the partner. I just feel like I always cook for them.
Really? Yeah, right. Yep.
I've got that role there where they just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
I think I've in the past only attracted takers.
Yep.
I realise.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a big giver.
Yeah.
So,
versus this like 50-50 kind of idea in all aspects.
That sounds really ideal. Being I think I've also been learning how to receive as well recently. So going from being that really independent, like masculine, probably masculine overpowering, getting it done, like always doing things for self, never asking for help. It's a cool transition. But I guess you can only really fully test it in a relationship, hey?
I guess, but a relationship doesn't have to be like sexual or together. It could be, how do you ask me, or how do you receive a compliment from me or your mum, or how do you practice it there, and then when it comes to you in a relationship, it's like that feels like that's what it feels like to receive in that way.
No, you're so right. That's just made me realise I've been doing good at it.
So good. Because
that's cool.
Swimmer. So good.
I love that. I was gonna ask, like, for example, I have moments where, like, when I think about being in a relationship, the biggest joy I've ever felt has been as a single person. Do you, like, because I have moments where if I think about being with someone, I like grieve my singledom in a way. I think I'll probably attract someone who's quite free and independent anyway. Like, okay, and that's totally true. But was there any moments where you grieved your singledom or thought, I'm not going to have my freedom before even meeting Reed?
No, not really, because I had that like 5 or 6 years where I just felt in my singledom. I went travelling, I like just lived it up. I kind of let that just be. And I wasn't looking for relationships that whole time. And every time they would knock on my door, I'd just close the door, slam it shut and run away.
Yeah, you're doing that too.
But that's such a beautiful indication of it's just not the right door to open.
And that's like,
it. Marie and I laugh because we kind of like both had a degree of the black art before that, and every time we would get to like 3 or 4 months of seeing someone and just be like, fuck that, I'm out. And just like couldn't see past that. So it's kind of funny that we've come together and kind of opened what we call the red heart.
The red heart.
But I feel like the singledom just allowed me to feel it myself, and I'm like glad that I have this new kind of like test or new lease on that. And it's now, okay, how do I find not my singledom but my independence in the relationship versus losing myself?
100%.
And I feel like that's such a huge thing. Well, it's like if you can't be yourself, then you turn up for the other person. Which is, I feel like, what sparked the initial relationship in the first place, right? As you fall in love with the beauty of the independence of each other.
For sure.
But it's like if that gets lost, then the love can get lost, right? So it's,
You don't want the codependent thing. I understand the honeymoon phase big time. But, I've never really lost my independence, which is something I'm very happy to say.
Cool. That's awesome. So you got a strong... you're quite a strong person and a very I feel like from our interactions over the past year or so, you know who you are and what you want.
Thank you.
So I feel like that's like the guiding light to come back to like you, come back to you. And try and build that respect with the other person too. Like if they don't respect your time, then obviously...
That's exactly it. That's a hard one to swallow, hey? People not really respecting your time. I feel like time is like, it's the biggest gift you'll ever give someone, your presence, and when people don't respect it is... I feel like I was just like reflecting back on like the past kind of like relationships or crushes and it's like, I shut the door like really quickly. It's like, I don't know, first signs of anything just being like, but it's like, I guess they're non-negotiable needs, as you say, even in the early phases. Like, I feel like I have short-term needs and long-term needs. Like, but maybe, I've been trying to get comfortable with that. But I think there's just like basic things that people should just host, like basic respect and things like that. So.
Respecting people for where they're at too in their process.
That's exactly it.
It's like maybe you shutting the door and telling them like what they need to hear fuels a new fire for them to actually treat the next person with that respect, or their friends or whatever. It's like there's no experience that's ever lost in that journey too.
For sure. That's well said. That's well said.
Powerful.
I think intuition kind of tells me as well that it just means they're just a different kind of stage of life if they can't really meet what you sort of the simple things that you bring to the table. So emotional. Are you available emotionally?
There's also a cool saying, I think it's from the Tao of Leadership, and it's like if you can't trust the process of someone, they'll never trust you. And so even in a relationship, it's like if you can't trust where someone's at and trust that that's their process to work through, or it's you two to come together to work through that process, then they're never going to trust like you or themselves in that process.
Big time.
So it's just like what's that kind of relationship with where they're at, or the process of them getting to know themselves. Which is like the unconditional love too. It's just like having unconditional love for exactly where they're at.
I feel like the quicker you accept that that's what's happening, the quicker you can just be like, okay, there's magic right here before me.
Totally. It's I come back to that like control and letting go. It's like if I hold on to this mark. It doesn't let the chance for me to put this down and like 10 more months come into my lap.
That's true.
And it's like, because I'm holding on to this for dear life, or holding on to a relationship or an idea, it's like, or even the expectation of like a goal, right? It's like if I want thing to be this and it has to be like this. It's like you
Yeah.
don't let way for the other magic to
Yeah.
happen.
It's television, eh?
Yeah, there's so much we don't control and don't know and
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like mystical and exciting.
yeah.
It's a funny one. I like this thing that happened last week. I was going through a little bit of a period, I guess, like just like big ego deaths over the past couple of months, and I just kind of reached rock bottom a couple of weeks ago. Like no money in the account, just like so many fucking like things I needed to pay for. I was like overdrawn $90, and I was just like, okay, something's got to change, and I made all these changes, and then like, you know, a week later, all this work's coming in, like this sells and this, and then I got 13K in the bank, and it's like, I'm not trying to flex up on money, but it's just like going from that to then going from like to just trusting and then being like, all right, what am I going to action, and then just being like, all right, like I'm fucking, something's watching over me. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm making decisions that need to be made, although hard, necessary.
Yeah.
Necessary as.
Yeah, so necessary because it's almost like the flow of energy too.
Yeah.
It's like when if the energy's stuck in the pipe until you actually flush the pipe and let that go, new energy can't like come in, and it's always moving, right? It's always like flowing. So it's how do you facilitate that?
It's true.
Rather than hoard it.
Yeah, I think you need to lose. Yeah, I think I came like so head to head with like shame and like understanding it in the shadow, like and fully getting it and just being like, oh, like I need to make friends with you, and being like, oh, okay, like I didn't really properly like understood it on a like intellectual level, but just like the actual action of, you know, nursing yourself in those dark times.
So good.
I'm like, shit, this is like irreplaceable. This, like, I would not have the process any other way because now I've got this knowledge.
Exactly.
I'm like, shit.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just like the trust that it sounds like you had in that to let go.
Yeah.
It's just
fucking intuition again. I feel like the intuition for me is just stronger when I'm not punching blunts all the time. But I think time and place for weed, I'm gonna try like incorporate it in a healthy, balanced way. It's such a fun drug.
Come back to the intention of it. Like
that's it.
The why. Just the what is it maybe helping facilitate, or what does it help you do? Like and come back to the choice as well. Like another one of my mentors, when I was doing like one of my first like health courses, she's like, put I choose in front of everything that you do and see what changes and what you choose. It's like, I choose to scroll on my phone for 6 hours. I'm like, you probably want to do that 2 days in a row. You're like, fuck, I just did that. I chose that. And so it's like, you know, choosing to smoke or choosing to have fun with friends or do it socially. It's like, that empowers you to consciously do it versus just like hit it.
Yeah, for sure. I think if I'm honest with myself, the intention is always to connect with self or with others for good conversation and things like that, which is cool. It's never, I mean, it's been escapism a bit. When you just don't want to feel those feelings, you're like, I'll just get high, and then what goes up must come down. So it's been a really cool thing.
But even like choosing the escapism, what does that do?
I chose it for a whole week, and it's almost like it helps in a way, because you're just like, this is basically on a quantum physics level. It's like it's already happened. Like I made this decision. Everything's conspiring in my favor in a way.
Cool. Versus like being held in the pattern of unconsciousness. So cool.
It's cool. I'm glad you understand that, and have the I choose thing is something that I'm going to take into my life from here on in. That's really cool.
Powerful to give you some, helps with like boundaries and just giving you direction on consciousness. What you're bringing to the decision that you're about to make. Like, I'm actually choosing to do this. It's cool.
It's more empowering.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
So cool.
I usually like to finish with asking if there's something that you've discovered recently, a book, a quote, a movie, or a conversation you've had that's just made you shift in a way, or excited you, or something you discovered, anything
Yeah, that's a
that
good
come
one.
to you?
I
I should think of one.
Yeah. Been listening, about to finish a book called Advanced Energy Anatomy, and it's all about the anatomy of energy. So how how energy works, how you work with it, how it affects money or creativity, or how it might affect your different archetypes. So like archetypes are kind of like our behavioural patterns, and just like getting to understand the energy that I'm working with and that I'm experiencing and that I'm feeling, and how that kind of relationship can influence where I take it versus where it takes me, and how I can start to like again consciously carve where that energy is going to take me. And that's been like such a cool book, and there's so much, it's an audio book, but so much in that to listen to.
So what was it called?
Advanced Energy Anatomy by Caroline Neese.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love Caroline.
Yeah, she's a proper guru, hey.
Yeah, she rips.
Yeah. And you know, her thing just continually comes back to intuition as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like a deeper like key to unlock in like how much I listen to myself.
Yeah.
How much I might trust myself, but also how much, like going back to that extracting the truth, how much I listen to what's being like coming to me, and like what do I take from that intuitively. Like intuitively, they kind of like came at me with this like bullish energy, and it's like that's just their shit. Like it's like someone comes out with this like beautiful open feeling, and it's like cool. I feel like that's more of a message to both messages, but like you know, what can I bring on board from that? And just understanding energy, like it's been such an eye-opening kind of experience. Yeah.
Auras as well.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Totally.
Have you noticed, like, you know, Johnny's garden at the markets, the guy whose name's Tobias?
Yeah.
I've just been noticing he's kind of like these little essence.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to notice like everyone's kind of like vibes there.
Yeah.
I just like fall in love with him more and more each week. I'm like, you are so fucking pure.
So good.
Like, you know, he's just talking about his radicchio. And like, last week he was like, oh, like I don't have any tomatoes, and I was just like, that means he knows that I'm buying tomatoes. Like,
cool.
Just so wholesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's like that deeper connection, right?
Yeah.
And like, what does that do to the food that you actually eat as well?
Everything.
Yeah.
It's just like a big blessing.
Totally.
Like, huge blessing.
How much better your body can digest that and absorb that too.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely equal to...
Yeah, I wonder... Just going to quickly check which one
maybe Anatomy of the Spirit?
Yeah, that's it.
That's such a good book as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a chakra stuff.
Yeah, that's always a good like check-in, I find, for me. Just like, I've been feeling a lot of mentalisation lately and trying to just shift from the mind to the heart more.
Yeah.
And I feel like that book is really good at just like grounding the intellectual with the understanding of like, oh yeah, okay, that's where I can maybe let go, or some questions to ponder on. I feel like that's been a cool little thing. That always brings me back to like what makes me come alive, like what gives me energy. Yeah. Because I can only give what I've given myself.
For sure. What gives you the most energy?
Cooking is probably up there with what gives me the most energy. Whether it's with myself, with people.
Yeah.
I feel like the process of buying the food, like firstly actually is like visualizing what I want to eat and tasting it before I even get the ingredients, and then it's just like that whole process for me feels like it's not over consuming, but it's like evanescent within me. I'm like always feeling this like, oh, what can I make or create or like cook, because that just like sparks me with energy. So I get excited by that. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to just create. Like it's such a canvas again for me, the fry pan or the different ways you can play with it, or different ingredients, or different seasons, or
You guys don't do simple, but you can see these.
Well, the funny thing is, I call it simple. Well, that's simple for me. I was like, that is not simple.
It's not simple. It's not simple.
But that's my intuition
Yeah.
fully taking over. Like,
That's mad. It's
I don't.
really nice.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have recipes and I've kind of followed them for different things, but like 99 times out of 100, it's intuition.
Sick.
And never cook the same thing twice. Or rarely.
Really? Fuck, I'm guilty as for that. I had like little lamb chops like 8 times. Like, no, 8 nights last week.
8 nights out of the 7. Oh, that's so good. But I think like there's a beauty in just coming back to that experimentalist piece. And like tuning into what your body feels it needs to.
Right, I'm going to experiment tonight.
Yeah, we'll go to when we go to the markets tomorrow. Just, and you probably already do this, but like just see what you're drawn to, like see where your eyes go, and just that will be such a intuitive like sense of your body. Yeah. To like what your body needs. Yeah. And it's through that. Yeah. You get to like change or experiment. It's like, cool, I got this new ingredient. Or we were actually playing with one new ingredient each week and just like see what we can create with it. Cool. It might just be simple or see what like comes from it, and that's just fun.
I love that. That is so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fucking creative. You realise how creative you can be in like every facet of
everything.
life.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, because creativity is not just being an artist. No. It's bringing the artist to whatever you're doing. Yeah. It's like, everything can be that if you want it to be. Yeah. If you choose it to be. Yeah. You know, it's like going for a morning swim can be artistic if you start to dance or move or.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's cool. Fuck, I love the way you see life and the way you express yourself. You're natural.
Well, so are you. So are you.
That was really cool.